Welcome to Potter Revisited, episode 101. I'm Tori.
And I'm Shay.
Today we are covering Chapter 3 of Order of the Phoenix, the Advanced Guard.
Or, as we like to call it, Dumbledore, you egotistical nut.
So, reading this chapter, it does feel a bit more classic early Harry Potter chapter, where it's very transitional. It's just getting Harry from point A to point B. There's a lot more of that recaps of events from previous books. The first two chapters were, I think, so action-packed, and there was just a lot of, important information given to us that they were very exciting. And this chapter, it is quite exciting to see Harry, see some familiar faces. Harry's finally leaving the Dursleys, but it's just definitely a lot slower and, I guess, more transitional than the previous two chapters.
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, you meet a lot of new characters, and that's exciting, but there definitely is quite a slow start to anything actually happening.
It's more an establishing chapter. It's needed, and it's giving you information that you need. You get to meet some new people, see some old characters, and it's to get Harry away from the Dursleys. But compared to the last two chapters where the Dementor attack happened, and then we find out that Petunia knows more about magic than she, says she does, that there was a lot of, crazy stuff happening in the last two chapters. So this is very, I think, bit more calmer of a chapter.
Yeah, it definitely starts calmer. I mean, it doesn't really have anything happening until right near the end. But what it does have happening at the beginning is Harry Potter being incredibly rude to Hedwig, who works hard, does not get paid, does not get the love they deserve. That is a hard-working owl, and he needs to treat that owl like more of a friend. That's what I think.
Yeah, so basically, from the end of last chapter, Harry just really wants to know what the hell's going on, because he's stuck at the Dursleys. He hasn't really had any updates from Arthur Weasley or Sirius, so he's basically I am fed up with this. I want answers now. So he writes these letters to Ron, Hermione, and Sirius, basically being tell me what the fuck's going on. And he is pretty rude to Hedwig. He's as soon as she gets back from hunting, he's hey, go do this thing, and you better make sure the answer, or else.
Or else.
But Hedwig really is the MVP. She just goes ahead and done this. And she just got back. She's a frog. She just wants to chill, but she does this thing for Harry, and we find out, I think, next chapter that she kind of did, peck the shit out of, Ron and Hermione. So she really was the MVP here.
Yeah.
We kind of get this point where Harry is, again, locked in his room. They use the cat flap again to give him food. He's basically locked in his room again. The Dursleys don't really want anything to do with him, but Harry's, describing himself going through kind of, these spirals of being really angry, just pacing his room and just really frustrated and angry about being stuck at the Dursleys, not knowing what's going on. And then he has these moments where he's just so lethargic and tired, where he says that he just lies in his bed and just stares at the wall, and he's thinking about being expelled and what will happen, and just these immense feelings of, he doesn't say sadness, but it does feel like sadness, and I think it really does show the mental state that he's in right now.
Yeah. So when Moody and the squad arrive, Moody, being ever cautious, is having Remus Lupin, who knows Harry Potter the best, ask him some, skill testing, who are you really questions, some, only Harry Potter would know questions to prove that it's really Harry and not a Death Eater in disguise or some such. So my question to you, Tori, is what would you ask me in order to prove that I am myself? Don't use your first choice, because you'll save that for real life and people are going to hear the pod. Give me your second choice.
I could say, what was the play that we had to act out in your grade 12 English class, where we gouged out someone's eye?
Oh, okay, I know the answer. I am myself. That was King Lear, right? It was King Lear.
Yep, it was King Lear.
With the eyeball gouging. Out, vile jelly.
Yeah, we picked the most glorious scene to do.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because why not?
Live your dreams.
What would you ask me?
I know so much. I could ask how you take your tea. I could ask all kinds of silly things. I feel like, how many bathrooms did your parents' house have growing up?
Yeah, we known each other for so long that, there's a multitude of things we could ask.
I'm which high school teachers made you cry? List them alphabetically.
Yeah. But yeah, this chapter, kind of the main point of the chapter is that the advanced guard comes to take Harry from the Dursleys to headquarters. It includes some familiar faces, like Mad Eye Moody, although it is interesting because we actually never really met the real Mad Eye Moody. So when we think of Mad Eye Moody and when Harry thinks of Mad Eye Moody, it is Crouch from Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Harry actually calls him Professor Moody, and then Mad Eye's like, well, I never actually taught you, so don't call me professor.
Yeah, it honestly must be such a strange sensation for Harry to see Moody, because he was kind of much closer to Crouch as Moody. Like, they spent time together, they bonded, they worked towards mutual goals, and it's probably pretty tough to sort of realign the relationship and familiarity, like just reteaching your brain to form those sort of relationships. And Moody, on the other hand, it's also got to be really weird because he mistrusts everyone first thing. And having someone act too familiar with you always feels very suspicious. So Harry, having all these memories of being fairly close to quote-unquote Professor Moody from last year, is making him feel so much more familiar to Moody, and therefore making Moody think this guy who doesn't know me is acting like we're friends or familiar. That's so off-putting, and I distrust that instantly. And it's just such like an awkward combination.
Yeah, I wish the books kind of leaned into kind of that awkward kind of like Harry has this pretty intimate-ish relationship with Mad Eye Moody, like similar to the relationship he had with Lupin in Prisoner of Azkaban. But the real Mad Eye Moody has no, like, he did not have this relationship with Harry. So they don't really kind of establish a real Moody from fake Moody. It's just kind of just like, this is the real Moody now, and he's basically the same as the previous Moody, except that he's not a Death Eater, like, impersonating him. But they don't really touch on what us not really knowing Moody.
Yeah, it's true. They don't give us an introduction to him.
Yeah, he's just like, this is the real Moody. That actually Moody, not the Moody you knew before that, and you spent like a whole book, you know, reading about and bonding with and having all these close conversations with. But some other familiar faces are we see Lupin again, and I'm so excited to have Lupin back, even though he's not like a large presence in Order of the Phoenix, but it is nice to have him back. We definitely talked a lot about in Prisoner of Azkaban how much we love Lupin, so I'm excited to see him again.
Yeah, I love Lupin. I love Lupin so much. He's so important to me. We also get to meet Tonks.
Yes! I'm very excited about Tonks. I love her so much.
And honestly, she chose such an excellent ruse to get the Dursleys out, like a best-kept garden competition. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as how she doesn't actually know them at all. She must have done her research.
Did her surveillance.
Yeah. But what would you have done? What would you have done to get the Dursleys out of their house for a few hours?
Like, I think knowing them, they are vain, and they have like this air of wanting to appear better than their neighbors. So anything that's going to appease their vanity or kind of give them an edge about something to make their neighbors jealous or whatever, like the lawn competition.
Yeah.
So being invited out to like, you know, a snazzy event or something, or just like a fancy, I could see like if there was like a new fancy restaurant and they were having like a private tasting or something, just something that they could lord over their neighbors, appear to like appease their vanity.
I feel like I would do something that would be like funnier in the long run, like Dudley getting like a local volunteerism award or something. I think that would be a real hoot.
Dudley and volunteerism. Never thought I heard that in the same sentence.
Yeah, I know.
Especially after we just talked a lot about last episode about how terrible Dudley is as like a person at this point.
Yeah, the worst kind of person. And that's why it's funny.
Yeah, we do get hints to some new characters, some other members of the Force that are going to be big players later. Like Kingsley's mentioned. Just he's not really super introduced well here, but he does become quite a big player later on. And there's other few familiar names that have been mentioned throughout the series that they're not really emphasized on, but they're just like, you know, honorable mentions, like Emmeline Vance, Dallas Diggle, or whatever. Like, they're just there.
Diggle.
And it's fun seeing all the people that came out to get Harry, because it's quite a group.
Some true legends were invited. Some true legends. It does kind of feel like bringing that many wizards to get Harry is maybe more of a risk than a benefit. Like, I feel like less people means less chance of the plans getting leaked. They're involving a lot of, like, ministry types, and I feel like there's always a risk of corruption when they're a ministry type. It just seems like they probably might have been better off sizing down a bit, you know, like sending 4 wizards.
I don't know if it was this book, maybe it may have been Deathly Hallows, but I feel like people wanted to come because people wanted to see Harry in the flesh, because Harry's still like quite a big deal, especially for this underground, like, I guess, good guy group. Harry's like, the beacon of hope, and so a lot of these people he knows, but there's a few of them that he hasn't met.
Yeah.
And they're all really excited to see him.
And I don't know if that's the best headspace to be in either when you're trying to do a rescue mission.
Yeah, probably not.
It's just not the best plan. I mean, the effort is appreciated. Lupin being there is a great call. I love that Lupin's there.
I definitely think that was intentional because Harry actually knows Lupin very well.
And trusts Lupin.
The rest of them, he doesn't really know. Like, he's met Mad Eye, but not the right Mad Eye. So Lupin's really the only person he knows, and he very much trusts Lupin. So, although at this point, I think if anyone came to get Harry and said, I'm going to take you to the Burrow or Hogwarts, he'd probably just go with them.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you're taking me out of this place? I'll go. I'm in.
It's actually probably a good thing that, like, if a Death Eater showed up and he's like, you want to leave here with me? He's like, yeah, sure. But, so basically they have decided that they tell Harry that they're going to take him to the headquarters, not the Burrow, but Harry needs to get ready. So Tonks is helping him get ready, and it's actually really fun because we get to know more about Tonks. So Tonks is an Auror, but a very young Auror. So I imagine she's in her early 20s. And just, I think the vibes really fit where you feel like this is like a mid-20s witch. And it's really fun because we grow up with Harry's characters where they're children, and it is, I think, a bit more fun as an adult reading these like mid-20s characters because most of the series is either children or adults. So having that fun in between where she's probably someone more our age that we can relate to.
Yeah, and she's kind of a badass. She's got like a bit of a spunky, like punk rock energy that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I also can sort of see that she wants Harry Potter to think she's cool. Like she's sort of showing off that she's an anamorphagus. just casually like, oh, I don't like this hair color. She just really wants Harry Potter to think she's cool. And like, I get it. He's kind of famous and a celebrity. And I bet she kind of wants everyone to think she's cool. But I wonder if there's also a little bit of like, Remus Lupin really likes this guy. And I quite like Remus Lupin. So if I get in with Harry, I'm going to have the inside scoop.
Yeah, so we learned some fun things about Tonks, that her full name's Nymphadora, but she hates that name. So she goes by her surname.
Be honest, I like the name Nymphadora. You could go by Dora, which is a pretty normal name. Or Nymph, because she's a badass. Like, I like the name. I would stand by that. I would choose that over Tonks. But I also really like how funny she is. Like, Mad Eye's like, okay, we've got 7 guards outside, and we're going to go in this order, and you're going to do it like this. And she's like, stop being so cheerful, Mad Eye. He'll think we're not taking any of this seriously. Like, it's just such a funny energy.
It's interesting that he kind of lets her clap back at him. Like, she's like, we know that he's kind of like her mentor and she's his protege and everything. But they have like a really nice banter that you don't usually see of Mad Eye because he's so serious and by the book. But he kind of lets things about Tonks' personality slide.
She's good at her job, so she can afford to have a bit of an attitude. Bless her heart.
Which is fun. Well, we get the idea that she's like a very talented Auror despite being super young. But going back to her being like a metamorphosis, this is kind of just like a thing just slid in here where she's like, I don't like how this color of my hair makes my skin look. And she changes it in front of Harry. And Harry, like, he's like mesmerized. He's like, can you like learn how to do that? That's amazing. And we just kind of learn that this is kind of similar to, I guess, an animagi where, but instead of turning into an animal, you can kind of change your features. But it is something you're born with. You can't learn about it. It's like you have to have that in your genes. But I really wish that more information was provided about this because it's just like a little thing. A little quirk about Tonks, which is fun, but like I find the idea of this so cool. Like, how many are there in the world? Like, 'cause it's super, super rare. Does it run in certain families? Like, how much can you change?
And how much of an art is it? Like,
yeah,
being able to change your face is one thing, but being able to change your face in a way that looks reasonably human is another thing. Like, can she look at a picture of someone and have their face? Is it that easy? Or can she just sort of slightly adjust her own features? Like, what if she didn't want to have a nose at all? Like,
because we see her changing her nose, we see her change her hair and stuff, and it's all like kind of like physical attributes, but like how far can you take it is like I'm curious about.
Maybe like, is it just the colors of things, like eye color, or can she like totally have like giant bat ears, or like can she turn her entire body green? Can she like have no eyebrows?
Possibilities could be endless, but it's not something that's focused on really. It's just like a little fun little tidbit. So, but I would love to know more.
I wonder if you have to register like an anime guy. Like, I wonder if it's because you could impersonate like government officials or whatever.
Yeah, could be dangerous. But as Harry and Tonks are packing up all his stuff, they come down and the orders are so funny. They're so nosy. They're like going through Petunia's like kitchen drawers, looking at like potato peelers and stuff. And it's just like so unnecessary, but I kind of love that. Moody puts his fake eye in like a glass of water, which I think Petunia would love if she knew.
I hope she suffers. I hope she finds out one day. She has security cameras set up in the house and they just come home and watch them on like old school VHSs, and it's just some guy popping his eye out and sticking it in a water glass.
You know, if this takes place like currently, you know, Petunia would have like 5 just like home security cameras.
Yeah, motion censored ones, every door, every window, corners of the yard.
What did you do in my kitchen?
Don't you touch my potato peeler.
But the big part of this chapter is, of course, how are they going to get to this headquarters? Because they don't really tell Harry where it is, but they need to get him there securely. And that's why there's so many people here. And of course, they're saying because Harry's underage, they can't use the flu or the port key or apparition because it's being monitored. So they need to fly to headquarters. And is this the best way?
Because I guess flying just isn't magic. Like, first things first, they learn flying at magic school. Brooms are magic. A broom won't let a muggle fly. Therefore, wizards use some of their magic to fly a broom. So why does it just not count as magic? Why is Harry flying count as magic?
I think they mean more that it's like not monitored. Like they're not monitoring people on brooms, but they monitor because Harry's underage, he can't apparate because he doesn't have the license. He has a trace on him, and the flu network's being monitored.
But here's the thing, right? He's traced for using magic. Harry has to use magic to fly. He's once again breaking the underage wizard restrictions, which they told him specifically not to do, and we're just pretending like that's not a thing. We're pretending like flying isn't magic.
I don't think the broom technically counts as, like, I guess, underage magic, because it's not them doing it, it's them, I guess, like, utilizing it.
But he has to do it. Like, flying is, like, there's no way Dudley could step on a broom and fly.
I mean, who knows?
I mean, I seriously doubt it.
It's the broom has the magic, not Harry, because, like, with apparition, you need to use a wand. Flu powder is monitored by the government, so they're not going to use anything that's monitored by the government. But it is very odd because I feel like there's other probably like more secure ways to do, because I don't know the distance between Surrey and London, but I'm assuming they could find someone to drive, and I think it'd be a bit more like incognito.
Oh, a car. You want to use Muggle transit.
Yeah, just because it just seems so like we're trying to be sneaky and get Harry there and like incognito, and we're just gonna fly these brooms across the sky in a Muggle suburb.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess they never think of Muggle things. They never consider Muggle options ever. And I kind of think that maybe they think it would be a risk if they did consider it. Like, if they get attacked by evil wizards while driving on the interstate, like, they're going to have a wizard duel in traffic. Like, a lot of muggles are going to catch on to something suspicious happening. But there aren't a lot of muggles just, like, flying around in the sky. Like, even the airplanes are probably higher up than the brooms. But it just seems so dumb. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around what the rule for using magic and brooms is. Because to me, side-along apparition, you don't do anything. You're not doing the magic. Harry does side-along apparition multiple times when he doesn't know how to apparate.
I feel that it was more a plot device because the author didn't want to introduce side-along apparition until Half-Blood Prince.
I guess, but it feels really, really dumb that sidelong apparition would be considered Harry using magic when him flying on a broom isn't. I just, like, can't wrap my head around that logic.
I think it's less him using magic and then not wanting the government to know, because it seems like every other transportation method is monitored by the government except for brooms. I guess it's only monitored, I guess, if they are seen.
Yeah, so it's only monitored if seen, but, like, to me, I just think using a broom is doing magic. Flying on a broom is magic. You have to be magic to do it, as far as we know. So, to me, there's no reason why Harry, who's been told not to use magic outside of school right now, specifically, is allowed to fly a broom, and that doesn't trigger the, like, trace on him for underage magic. Doesn't count as magic.
Well, I guess it's because they don't monitor it.
But, like, they will catch him doing all kinds of other magic.
Well, I think it's because of spells. It's not like a spell, because I think the broom is what's enchanted, not anything Harry does.
I guess. I just can't wrap my mind around that as being, like, the physics of wizardry.
I think this whole thing is just mostly trying to be just a plot device to get Harry from the Dursleys to here. And, like, she didn't want to introduce too many magical transportation methods at once.
I guess. It just feels really shitty.
Yeah. It's just, it feels like it's there for a point. There's no, like, really logic behind it.
It feels, like, poorly thought out. And, like, I get that the flu network is easily tracked and therefore probably easily intercepted. And I suppose the government would know and has to set up the flu access. So, like, they'd know for sure. But, like, why not a port key?
Lupin says that they would get in trouble because port keys have to be authorized. So Lupin does have a point about it.
Yeah, but you can do unauthorized things.
Well, they say that if they did that, they'd get in trouble. So they're trying to be incognito and, like, not cause the government more to go after them.
Yeah, they're hoping no one notices. But then how did no one not see them landing and descending in friggin' London? London, bit of a populated place from my understanding.
Yeah, let's go to when they get to London, where Grimmauld Place is. So they have this big descent where I guess they land in, like, a courtyard. And this is kind of the thing that took me out, where I'm just kind of like, is no one seeing this? Because Grimmauld Place is in a Muggle, like, neighborhood.
Yeah, it is. It's in a Muggle neighborhood. It's in London. Sorry, it's like, that's a big city. There's no way. And, like, they're not descending really, really steeply. So, like, they're descending at a reasonable angle. There's a lot of streets they're flying by within visible, like, distance from the ground. There's no way no one saw them. The best chance is that everyone who saw them was on their way home from a pub and thought they were hallucinating. Like, that's their only recourse.
Yeah, they were like, I drank quite a bit.
Because I'm literally seeing men flying around on brooms. Wow, that one had pink hair. Like, it's bananas. It doesn't make any sense. It's silly. It's plot holy. And, like, I understand the visual imagery of it. Like, it'd be so cool to imagine flying. Like, everyone wants to picture that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you think back to, like, the film and how they do this, it is very, like, cool to see.
And picturing it in your brain and, like, seeing the house you hate with the family that hates you, shrinking behind you, and then the lights of the city at night. Like, it's all very dreamlike, but it's just not good writing. Like, that it's pretty, but it's not smart, it's not clever, and it doesn't really make sense within the rules of how the world works.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that isn't based in logic in the series. It's just there to get Harry to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
But when they get to London, Moody has Dumbledore's Deluminator, which has made a comeback to kind of darken the alleyway so they don't see all these people on brooms and whatnot.
Yeah. At the bare minimum, they're not in a spotlight when they land their magic devices in the middle of London.
But I thought it was interesting bringing back the Deluminator, because the last time we heard about it was the beginning of the series in the first chapter of Philosopher's Stone. And the Deluminator plays a huge part in Deathly Hallows. So I think it's starting to kind of reestablish the Deluminator and what it does. So we know when Ron gets it later on. It's like a bit of a throwback, so a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole scene seems very Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this scene is, like, called back to in Deathly Hallows and when they leave the Dursleys for the last time.
Yeah. I kind of wish they hadn't have done them so similarly, I guess. Like, I feel like the fact that he's already flown away from the Dursleys' house takes away from the impactfulness of it then. Like, I really wish, especially for that moment to feel more special and significant, this moment hadn't have been so similar.
Yeah, it feels like this was just to get Harry away.
Yeah. This whole chapter, lazy plot device.
Yeah, it's just, this chapter is, like, transitional. It's like what we said, like, there's not a lot building for the plot here. It's mostly Harry needs to get to where the action is, where headquarters is, and there just needs to be a way to do that. All it really does is establish Tonks, Lupin, Moody being back, and there's a few little, like, foreshadowing hints of like devices like the Deluminator and people that are in the Order to kind of establish them, but it doesn't really build on the plot or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like some exposition there. But they end the chapter with Harry being given a note from Moody, which is in Dumbledore's writing, that explains that where the Order of the Phoenix headquarters is, which is at number 12 Grimmauld Place.
First of all, I love the name Grimmauld Place for a place that is grim. Love that. Grim and old. Grimmauld. Spectacular. I feel like it's such a risk to have the secret keeper write down the secret. Like, it's just such a risk.
Yeah, I wonder how that's managed.
And I understand he's just doing it for Harry because he wants to avoid Harry.
Yes.
And not talk to him. And I'm sure he spoke to everyone else in person. But, like, he gave that written down on a piece of paper. Like, it's not like he gave it to Neville Longbottom. Like, it's not like someone's going to find it and read it.
No. It's to Moody, so it's pretty secure.
But it still feels like a bit of a risk.
Yeah, I feel like Dumbledore's taking a lot of, like, risks with this just so he doesn't have to be in contact with Harry. And we do understand, I guess, later on why he wasn't in contact with Harry. But it causes so much issues, and there's a lot riding on this. Like, this is, like, the location of the headquarters. Like, if someone else got that, be game over.
Yeah. Dumbledore, it's all because of Dumbledore's ego, this whole book. He's like, I am the number one most interesting thing in Lord Voldemort's life. So if I'm not in Harry's life, Voldemort, what would he possibly care about Harry Potter for? You know, there's nothing at all that Voldemort would want with Harry Potter if I'm not involved. Like, fuck off, Dumbledore, you egotistical nut.
There'll be a lot more to complain about with Dumbledore for next few chapters. But do you have any final remarks before we wrap up?
I mean, besides fuck off, Dumbledore, you egotistical nut. He's being ridiculous.
Yep.
You're right. Harry could have taken a fucking taxi.
Might have been an expensive taxi.
He's rich as shit.
That's true. I keep forgetting Harry's, like, you know, the rich.
I mean, it's England. He could take the underground. I guarantee most of the pureblood evil wizards don't know there's such thing as underground trains. Like, they don't know what the London Underground is. They would be confused. The only train they know about is the Hogwarts Express.
Just shouldn't got serious to pick him up on his motorbike. But thank you for listening to this episode of Potter Revisited, and we'll be back to discuss Chapter 4 of Order of the Phoenix, number 12, Grimmauld Place.
Great name for a place.
These titles are just keeping it easy for me. Nothing too complicated yet. But if you have any thoughts about this episode, you can email us at potterrevisitedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on social media at Potter Revisited. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.